Enix is a shell of the company they once were, and it's always hard for me personally to talk about them because they have so many amazing franchises that they either completely squander or screw up. And now, of course, they're virtue signaling yet again, talking about how they're doing this Pride at Square Enix live stream that is getting absolutely ratioed because of the developers behind it. Now, of course, I've talked a lot about Square Enix on this channel over the years, particularly because they've made so many bad decisions. They constantly are more worried about virtue signaling over creating amazing content, and they have things like internal ethics departments where they have individuals who look over the shoulders of developers and tell them to censor things, to alter the content they're creating during the development process so that they don't offend Western audiences with delicate sensibilities, which is just disgusting. In my opinion, their internal ethics department has done some serious damage over the years, like with Tifa, changing Tifa's design to add the black fabric underneath her sports bra, making it so she has shorts under her skirt. I mean, these are just some of the changes that they have made over the years. They've also made decisions like with their big NFT focus that they haven't talked about in a long time because they were getting raked across the coals for it, but they have been, yes, in like this DEI death spiral, and now they have decided to promote this big new event they're doing called Pride at Square Enix, and it's going to be a Twitch live stream in only a few days. So I think they missed the memo that Pride Month was in June because it's October now, so they're just trying to add another big Pride event to their slate. But more specifically, what has upset people are the way that these developers have responded. So, of course, they initially were getting kind of roasted for this because, like, why are you doing a Pride event in the middle of October? Like, if you really want to promote a game that has, Pride content in it that has representation, just fucking do it. Stop virtue signaling about it. If the game is good, people will watch the live stream, they'll see that the game is good, and they'll simply buy it. But they're trying to get certain audiences interested in this title. By the way, audiences who really don't play video games or who people are not going to show up to support you, especially after you're getting roasted like this. But the developers actually decided to come out and attack all gamers, criticizing them and primarily just pointing and laughing at Square Enix for virtue signaling, saying, while it's very disheartening to see little Goody Two-Shoes get this amount of hate and homophobia a second time, we will keep on proudly developing and promoting LGBTQ plus titles. And of course, they go on to talk about how they're so grateful for their community who supported them through this second wave of bigoted comments and hate. So of course, your potential customers are just people you're calling bigots and homophobes, and that's not a winning strategy. That is not a way that you are going to get people to swipe their credit cards. If they simply came out and said, hey, listen, yeah, Square Enix reached out to us and said they simply wanted to promote our game, we were cool with it, and they weren't, trying to silence people and calling us homophobes, that would be one thing. Of course, whenever we see a Pride event happening in the middle of October, we're going to point and laugh because it just shows that this company is more focused on trying to get a new audience of people, aka the modern audience, interested in their titles. Because if your game simply happens to have, diverse content or has something like an LGBTQ romance and the game itself is good, it's going to happen naturally. Your supporters are going to follow you naturally. It's like with Final Fantasy 16, for example. Final Fantasy 16 is an amazing fucking game. You happen to have Bahamut, aka Dion, who is gay. We happen to love that game, and he happens to be gay. I didn't see Square Enix yapping about that in the promotional material for the game. No. Why didn't they do that? Because they knew he was a character who could stand on his own, who happened to be extremely well written. You don't need to constantly virtue signal because you think you're going to get a new audience interested in your title, all you're doing is making yourselves look ridiculous. And these developers are responding in the worst way possible, just saying, oh, we've received so much hate and homophobia simply because people are pointing and laughing at this epic virtue signal fail. So I don't think Square Enix is going to respond. I also don't think that this community live stream is going to go over particularly well for them. I think now they're going to get trolled even harder because of the Streisand effect. I will be keeping my eye on it, but for now, that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this, give it a like, and if you didn't, give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I will talk to you all again in the next video really soon.